Welcome in for this edition of Bet. I'm your host, Anita Marks. Andre Snellings will be joining us in just a hot second. We'll talk about the NBA, getting you ready for really just remainder of games, right? We are getting close to the Eastern and Western Conference Championships. And of course, the finals will be here before we know it. Also, a lot of NFL talk right now. Big schedule release day tomorrow. We'll dive into some NFL conversation in the Byron Nelson tees off tomorrow morning. We're going to get you ready for some picks and plays as well. But let's bring in Dre. Dre, great to have you back on Bet, my friend. How you doing?
Doing great on this hump day. Normally it's a Friday, so, I'm excited to get the rest of the week going strong.
Well, I'm excited to host the show with you, so let's jump right into it as the good word is every Wednesday with us. Nuggets and Lakers, 3-1 favorites to win the title, co-favorites. With that being said, what's your good word?
Technicality. Because I started to say disrespectful, as in disrespectful to the Eastern Conference teams, but they're only co-favorites on a technicality because the 76ers and Celtics are still splitting the vote. The Celtics were heavy favorites to win it all at this time yesterday. So even though the Sixers won to go up 3-2, the Celtics are still favored so highly that they're splitting the vote. I think that the Nuggets and Lakers are worthy. I'll talk more about the Lakers in the show. I've been high on them for a long time. But if you like the Eastern Conference teams, if you're confident in either the Celtics or the 76ers, now could be a good time to put money on them because their odds are only going to get shorter once their overall outcome in series is decided.
My good word is big, as in, big men rule the postseason here in the NBA. Let's look at Jokic. First and foremost, another triple-double last night, his 10th triple-double of the postseason, surpassing Wilt Chamberlain. So again, to those that did not vote for him as the MVP, I don't know how you do that. Meanwhile, for the Lakers, I know you're really big on the Lakers, Dre. AD, I know a lot of people, it's all about LeBron James, but to me, AD has been that straw that has stirred that drink, not just on the offensive side of the court, but the defensive side of the court as well. And I do believe the 76ers will advance and rep the East in the championship, and for good reason. Not to take anything away from Harden and his heroics as of late in the postseason, but Embiid really has been it. And surprisingly so, because I thought him having to play with that knee brace, he was going to take away from his form and his aggressiveness. But man, was I wrong, especially in this last game that they beat Boston in Beantown. Number 2, LeBron James, Finals MVP, Dre, at plus 450. He's third behind Jokic as well as Embiid. What's your good word?
Tardy. As in, I hope those that are watching were not tardy to the party for going with LeBron, because in my eyes, he's been a Finals MVP favorite for a really long time. You guys might remember that in this space, more than a month ago, back during the regular season, I said then that I expected the Lakers to represent the West in the finals, and we're seeing it slowly play out in that direction. And back then, you could have got LeBron for Finals MVP at odds of like 20-1 or greater. So hopefully, if that is of interest to you, you were able to get in a little earlier. But even if you didn't get in then, I think there's still value in LeBron for Finals MVP for those that expect the Lakers to win, because, Anita, you referenced Anthony Davis, but I have to feel like if the Lakers find a way to win the championship, LeBron James is going to find a way to get that legacy-enhancing 5th Finals MVP award. And so I think he'll outshine AD on that stage, so there's still value in him, even if you were a little bit tardy to this final MVP party.
So your word is tardy, my word is wrong, as in the wrong player here. I'm sorry, not to take anything away from LeBron James. In fact, he has been a facilitator in the best way. And I've been playing over in regard to assists and rebounds, and I've been winning, especially in the postseason with LeBron James. But at the end of the day, AD, Anthony Davis, has been that straw that stirs that drink, averaging double-doubles. Not just points, but rebounds, and also on the defensive side of the court, he's averaging 4 blocks a game. And in this series that I do believe that they will win in 6 against the Golden State Warriors, The Warriors can't get any type of points, any type of production in the paint, and the big reason why is because of AD. And I think he's going to be the main factor if the Lakers do win another championship. And if they do, to me, the MVP more than likely will be AD. Last but not least, Nuggets beat the 76ers to win the NBA title. You can get that exact bet at 6-1, Dre. What's your good word?
Timing. As in, the timing of when you make this exact bet could make a big difference. As I pointed out a few seconds ago, the Nuggets currently have the shortest odd to win the championship on a technicality, because once the East is settled, then whoever wins between the 76ers and the Celtics are going to end up having the shortest odds to win the title. So if you want to bet on one of those teams, or even one of the underdog West teams to come back and win the championship in an exacta, it would behoove you to bet now on them because the odds are longer. But if you really like the Nuggets, the way I know you do, Anita, you might consider waiting and betting their exacta later when they're no longer the favorites, because you might get a little more juice than this plus 600.
So my good word is run, as in run, don't walk. Get to the window. Because I do believe I've got the Denver Nuggets. Again, they're up on the series. I've been talking about it. How much longer can KD and Devin Booker play 40 minutes and produce 40 points a game? We saw it this last game. They did not. Denver made the adjustments that they needed to do, limiting Booker, hitting threes with Michael Porter Jr., and having great transition defense. I do believe the Nuggets do win this series. I do believe they'll represent the West in the championship, and I've got them winning the championship. And for the 76ers, they are up on the series in Boston. I think they close it out tomorrow night in Philadelphia. And I have the Miami Heat beating the Knicks. I just think the Miami Heat right now just totally head and shoulders above the Knicks. The Knicks are outplayed, outmatched. I just don't think they're going to get that same production against the 76ers. So I'm running to the window to bet this. I'm not walking. Let's turn our attention to some NFL. Again, really excited about the schedule release coming out tomorrow. We've got a special show right here on ESPN Plus coming your way to break down all the schedule, all the matchups and whatnot. So let's talk some NFL. Now, some NFL division winners. Let's take a look at the AFC South. And Dre, I want you to take a look. Jags, Titans, Colts, Texans. How do you think that this division pans out at the end of the year? Who do you have 1 through 4 in the AFC South?
I've got the Jaguars number 1. They already have worked through their growing pains, and by the end of last season, they were clearly on top of the division, and I think they're just going to get better. It's funny, in his 3rd season, Trevor Lawrence could be the grizzled old man veteran quarterback in the division, because all 3 of the other teams have rookies that could be starting sooner rather than later. After the Jaguars, I went with the Colts on the basis that of those rookie quarterbacks, I feel like Anthony Richardson is the one that, if utilized correctly and working with Jonathan Taylor, the Colts could put together a really strong run game that is both hard on their opponents and also makes life easier on their rookie signal caller as he settles into the NBA. I've got Houston number 3 because I really like what they did in the draft, because I don't have to figure out how they're going to pay for what they had to give up for Will Anderson. I actually had C.J. Stroud. He was my QB1 in the entire draft. And I think ultimately his accuracy and his poise and his underrated athleticism will be big for helping Houston to be able to get to where they want to go. And I really like D'Amico Ryans as the head coach and what they're doing with the defense. I could honestly see them jumping into 2nd, but for right now, I have them in that 3rd spot. In Tennessee, I just feel like they're moving in the wrong direction. With Ryan Tannehill, I don't see a point in him as their quarterback this season, because he's not the long-term answer. They've got Will Levis there. They might as well see what they've got in Levis. And if they move on from Tannehill, they have a team with no wide receivers and a lot of, like, a funky mix of veterans and young players that, to me, it just seems like they're in a race to the bottom of the division, even though Vrabel's an excellent coach and they've still got the running back that's a monster. I feel like of the 4 teams, Levis has he's the quarterback I'm the lowest on in this division. So I've got them in this 4th slot.
Interesting. In Vrabel, I trust, Dre. In Vrabel, I trust. All right, let's take a look at how I rank this division. We're both on the same page in regard to Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence, 2nd year in Doug Peterson's system. Their defense, hands down, they win this division. But I got the Tennessee Titans 2nd. Like I said, in Vrabel, I trust. Solid defense. Tannehill at quarterback. Derrick Henry right now, as we know, at running back. Meanwhile, for the Colts, I don't even know if Richardson's going to start. I think he's going to battle it out with Minshew. I think Minshew's going to be your starting quarterback for the Colts. And the Texans, C.J. Stroud, Will Anderson, I just don't think these cats are ready. You mentioned Will Levis. No, Will Levis is far from ready starting in the NFL. I don't think he's going to start for the Tennessee Titans unless they're 0-9 or 0-10 at some point in time. So I have the Tennessee Titans at number 2. Let's take a look at the NFC South. This is really shrug up for grabs, right? So the Saints, the Bucks, Carolina, Atlanta. Who do you have in what order?
Yeah, I've got the Saints on top. So as you pointed out, this is a division that last season it seemed like nobody wanted to win, and now it's still with Tom Brady leading the Buccaneers. But the Saints, they felt like they were competent quarterback play away from running away with the division even last season. And right now, Derek Carr is clearly the best quarterback in the division by some distance. And so I think he has the pieces around him for them to take control of the South. I've got the Falcons next because the biggest question mark is their quarterback, Desmond Ridder. He was a rookie last season, and the Falcons seemed to like what they saw out of him enough that they really weren't trying all that hard to get another quarterback this offseason. So, their skill positions are super exciting. They've got top 10 draft picks across the board, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and they were busy in free agency on defense, so that side of the ball should be much improved. So to me, it's just about whether Ridder is ready to be a starting quarterback, and if so, the Falcons can also be dangerous. The Panthers and Bucks, I think, are both in rebuild. I've got the Panthers in 3rd. I think they're building for their future with Bryce Young at quarterback, and they brought in a bunch of kind of 2nd, 3rd tier veterans at skill positions to help make his transition into the NFL easier. But I think even if you ask someone in Carolina, their success plan is for future years. And the Bucks are going into the season with Baker Mayfield at quarterback 1. Full stop. I mean, I don't see them living up to what they've been used to these last 2 seasons.
Well, then you're not going to like my order. We are in agreement, lockstep in regard to the Saints. Again, Derek Carr there picking up where, Jameis Winston left off. So we're in agreement there. I think the Saints are going to run away with this division. But I have the Bucks at number 2. Listen, they still have a lot of good defensive players coming in. They've got a solid wide receiving core that Tom Brady begged and wished for. And Baker's going to battle it out with Kyle Trask for the starting job. Meanwhile, for the Carolina Panthers, again, Bryce Young, I don't think he's ready for the NFL. I do believe he's going to start, but we're going to see some growing pains. And Atlanta, I'm just not sold on Desmond Ridder. I think they're going to be a run-first, run-all-the-way team with Robinson as high as they drafted him in this year's draft. So I think it's going to be a battle between Carolina and Atlanta to see who finishes last. I have more faith in the Bucks than you do. Let's take a look at the NFC North. And of course, as we know, we've got the Packers, the Bears. Everybody's loving the Bears right now. I'm really curious where you have them listed, as well as the Vikes and the Lions. What you got, Dre?
Yeah, I've got the Lions on top. They are kind of clearly the buzz team in the division. And see, I've liked the Lions since the Barry Sanders days. I lived, outside of Detroit for much of my adult life. So I am nervous with all of this buzz they're getting because it's just they've let me down too many times. But they really have made strong picks and brought in smart players over the last few seasons. They had their strong winning streak to finish last season, and they just feel like it could finally be their time. So I've got the Lions on top. I'm going with the Vikings in the second slot because I feel like everybody is way too out on them. They did win 13 games last season, and I know it broke every analytics rule that they won 13 games. They were undefeated in one-possession games, which does not seem sustainable, but they still got in Cousins probably the best veteran quarterback in the division, and they have, they've done a lot of work on their defense, which was just a dumpster fire last season. So I could still see them potentially being a double-digit win team. You mentioned those Bears. I've got them in the 3 slot. I'm really high on them. I can personally say I'm going to be doing some betting on them to make the playoffs this season because I really like the way that Justin Fields just took so many steps last season. He was one of the most electric players in the NFL. And with their draft day trade going from 1 to 9, where they were able to bring in so much other talent to go with Fields, particularly at the wide receiver spot where they brought in DJ Moore. I do like the Bears a lot. I've got them in the 3rd slot, but I can see them challenging for the playoffs. Finally, in Green Bay, the era's over, right? Aaron Rodgers is gone. We're moving into the tunnel of love, and I just don't know what to expect. I feel like maybe their floor might be a little higher than a team like the Bears because they do still have the pieces that were meant to be championship pieces around Rodgers. But I'm going with Fields' upside, and so that pushes the Packers down to 4th on my list in the AFC North. The NFC North, I'm sorry.
So brace yourself, Dre. Really interesting. We are locked in step with all 4 teams. With all 4 teams, dude. All right, so Detroit, I'm with you. Not only do I think Detroit wins the division, I think they're going to make some noise in the postseason. This is a rebuilding team. I think they have rebuilt faster than they were expecting to. Love Detroit, offensively, defensively. Love their coach. So to me, Detroit, number 1. Number 2, Minnesota. A lot of people are sleeping on Minnesota. There's more bets that are wagered on the Chicago Bears this season, right now in the preseason futures bets than any other team. A lot of people thinking Justin Fields is going to win the MVP. He's got to prove to me that he can throw the football. We know the cat can run, but he's got to prove to me his accuracy, especially in passes 20-plus yards. He just hasn't proven it to me yet. So I'm fading Justin Fields, even though, did they improve the Chicago Bears? Absolutely. But I still need to see more from Justin Fields before I can put the Chicago Bears at 2. So I got Minnesota at 2. I love the addition of Addison, wide receiver from USC, to go along with Jefferson. I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the passing game. And then Green Bay last, because we really don't know what we're going to get from Love now that Aaron Rodgers is here in New York with the Jets. Any final thoughts before we let you go, Dre?
I am loving these NBA playoffs, and after that conversation, I'm hyped to see what the NFL's got for me. So, it's a great time to be a sports lover. Absolutely,
Dre. Thank you so much. And again, just a reminder, big NFL schedule release show right here on ESPN Plus tomorrow night. So make sure you tune in. As always, we like to end the show with Before We Let You Go, and let's talk some golf. Right? We've got the Byron Nelson coming your way bright early tomorrow morning, TPC Craig Ranch. KH Lee has won this tournament not once but twice. 3rd time a charm. That's not where my money is riding. What's important here? Greens in regulation and putting. Those are the 2 key things. They're putting on bent grass. And another reason why Scotty Scheffler, by the way, coming in is the favorite. The only reason I'm not going chalk this week is because his flat stick has not been as hot as it needs to be in order to win here. So who do I like? Let's look at Brandon Wu. I'm going to play him always. I'm going to play him to win, top 5, top 10, top 20, because you get some good odds for him to finish in the top 20 at plus 210. Finished 3rd in Mexico and then took some time off. Rested, ready to go. This course is a great fit for him. He is the best putter on tour for within 3 feet and also 5th on consecutive birdies and eagles. And you're going to have to go low. A very low score is going to win this like it has the last 2 tournaments. Also, give me Jimmy Butler. Give me Jimmy Walker to finish in the top 30. He's got a great story. Unfortunately, he was somebody who has been dealing with Lyme's disease and battling it for over a year. He's finally feeling good. 4 top 25s his last 5 starts here on tour. tied for 14th at Quail Hollow. His putter is uber hot. Like I said, that's what's needed in order to win here. And also, he's a Texas native, so he's going to have a lot of friends and family cheering him on. And last but not least, give me Kuchar as well to finish in the top 20. He's got 3 top 10s this season. He's got 5 top 20s since the beginning of 2023. And twice he's teed it up here because he loves playing in Texas, and he's already finished in the top 20. His game is really on point. So Wu, Walker, as well as Kuchar, 3 guys that I think will do well, and feel free to utilize them in your DFS lineup as well. Again, I want to thank Dre for joining us on Bet tonight. We've got you locked and loaded for some NBA, NFL, get you excited for the schedule release tomorrow, and of course, some golf. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching us here on Bet. We really do appreciate it. We'll see you on Friday.